This is a reading for the sign of Capricorn for November 2021. This is going to be a Celtic cross layout for Capricorn. Just as a note, Capricorn is, I have Capricorn ascendant, I am Aries, so I'm doing this reading kind of for myself, but for all Capricorn collective. And that was a terrible shuffle, that's all right. We'll get shuffled here and we will get started. I think I finally figured out the focus on my camera. I have some remote software that I'm using that hopefully will make that a little bit better. Okay, so I'm gonna Okay, so the heart of the matter, Seven of Pentacles. Let's see if this actually, maybe it is actually focusing. We'll see. Okay, Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles talks about tending your resources. The analogy is a plant, and one of the things that it talks about is minding the resources and editing, and tending, and pruning, and this card shows that particularly well. Opposing forces, or what's crossing it, is the Seven of Wands. We have seven. Seven of Wands is typically a card of defensive energy. In this particular deck, this card is quite different because this is an individual who is secure within her own boundaries, and she is not engaging in defense. She knows what she has, she knows what she has done, and she is sitting there with serenity and stability. So this is talking about a state where you're secure in what you are doing, what you have accomplished. The energy underneath this is the sun, which is fantastic. It's a period of great activity of in intellectual, emotional, and just moving forward, lots of activity, very positive. In the past, there was the Three of Wands, and the Three of Wands is someone who is waiting. In this deck, it's this is a surfer just waiting to catch a wave, and really that's what you're doing. You're waiting for that next wave to come along, and so you're sitting in serenity and minding your resources and preparing for what is coming. So at crowning this is the Page of Cups. I keep getting the same set of cards for this bunch in slightly different layout, but the Page of Cups is, I think, quite a funny a funny little card in that you have an individual, the page, who is a young man, and there is a lot going on here. There's a lot of imagination and a lot of the Page of Cups, emotional imagination, and this is the When Pigs Fly card that I talked about in the reading the other day. That the things that you think are impossible, emotionally speaking, when pigs fly, there is a pig indeed with little wings there in the corner, and the pig is flying. So it can happen. It's, being able to open your heart to things that you didn't think of emotionally were possible. And in the near future, there is the Two of Wands. And the Two of Wands does talk about decisions. It's creative thinking, brewing an idea. You may have something going on. It's Aries energy, and it's also it's a balance. It's finding a balance as well. But what it talks about here are the plans that you're making. You're getting ready to choose one of those and put them into action. And the energy at this particular time is the Four of Swords. And this energy is the energy of my energy, or the energy of the Capricorn right now is in a state of rest. This card is a lovely version of that. Typically it is it's actually an effigy of a king, perhaps, or a knight, or a ruler lying in state, and it really talks of going inside and resting and recuperating. And so this is a time when a great deal of recuperation can be taking place. The environment surrounding this is the Four of Pentacles. And often we think of the Four of Pentacles as holding on to your resources, or being somewhat paranoid about losing your resources, wanting to hang on to things. You kind of see that a little bit in here. But this is a person also that is serene in, I have what I have, and I'm appreciative of that. The energy is of gratitude for what you have, as well as for making sure that your resources are used carefully. And Capricorns are pretty good about that particular thing, so that environment is good. And in the hopes and fears, we have the Ten of Cups. And this is a hope for me for emotional fulfillment, a completion of an emotional cycle. This is something that it's sometimes called a happy families card. But in this image, you see a couple and children, and everyone is happy, and there's rainbows. I think that the fears side of this would be the turning over of this, is that you cannot find that emotional fulfillment. The emotional fulfillment card, the completion of the cycle of something emotional, that's really what that talks about. And moving to the outcome for this card, we get the Ace of Swords, which I think is really interesting. I think that the Ace of Swords is talking about the whole process behind this. To me, there is some creative process going on in the background because of the wands in the reading, and the idea that you're sitting with something and resting and contemplating with the Four of Swords is kind of brought to the fore, and the eventual outcome being that you know which direction. This is the Ace of Swords is opening up to a completely new idea about, what is a truth, a big truth that you're looking for. And this may be something that decision is waiting for some information that's going to be revealed by you sitting and thinking about it here. And again, sitting and thinking about it here. This is a time of contemplation that looks like it's going to result in somewhat of an epiphany for you. And underneath the card is, or the underlying energy is that of the Page of Wands. And this is more creative energy. This is coming from a desire in the past that you want to move forward with some creative projects, perhaps, or you have some ideas. There's a lot of energy that's been kind of bubbling up there, and all sort of melding together to come up to the conclusion. I think it's interesting that there are several cards from the previous reading in here. Behind this, the Two of Swords, so that talks about the decisions, because you have a decision you haven't quite made yet, that you're probably going to be getting the information for quite soon. Plus the Ace of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles are also here underneath the reading. And the Queen of Pentacles would be a good Capricorn card. And so you can see Capricorn in this reading. The Ace of Pentacles is telling me that you have been working on perhaps a new, working into a new phase of the Pentacles, a new cycle, as a reading that I did a little bit earlier shows. And then there is also here a great deal of energetic energy coming, or creative energy coming in, and that might be a busy time, and things pretty soon. And this might be why this has come to fruition here, because there's been so much activity taking place. So that is the basic reading, and now I will go ahead and put this card down here because I want that to be I'm going to pull a couple of cards of advice and see what we get here. What advice do we have for the Capricorn right now? A card or two, please. Okay. This is advice possibly that it's a chaotic, collaborative energy that sometimes is competitive and even slightly combative, because you've got people working and they may not be working together. So I think that with respect to the Seven of Wands being, here's the defensive energy, this might be saying, you know, this thing that you're working on here, that you're trying to make a decision about, there is something about that you might have had some conflicted ideas about. And that might be what this card is talking about. There's some contemplation, there's something that you're trying to move through to get to happen, and this kind of energy is sort of getting in its way. And then a final bit of advice. Okay. The Chariot. So I think this is the second major arcana card, and at the bottom of this we also have the Magician energy. And so this is a manifesting energy. So I can see that what is taking place here is that you are attempting, Capricorn, you're attempting to manifest something and waiting for the right moment for it, and hoping that these things come together, and working with this chaotic energy, but this fast moving forward energy. The things are going to move, and the energy of the Magician will help you manifest that. I think that would be the overall look at this reading. There's a lot of energy that some of it is still and some of it is contemplative, but a lot of it is is quite concentrated energy of movement and competition and things coming together in a certain way, and that's kind of what you're waiting to make your mind up, which way you want to go with it. And then eventually that will get you to, it could be that you're a little tired because of all of this that's going on. So this might be a good time to say, okay, I can take a little more time. I can contemplate this a little bit more. I know what I hope to come from it. I do think that the energy of the Four of Pentacles, you have what you need. You know what you're going to be. You know what you can afford to spend as far as your resources, your energy, your time, your love, your intellectual effort, etc. And so taking the time to rest a little bit before that might be the thing that really gets you to this bit of energy here. And I just want to see this particular deck's take on the Ace of Swords. It's brilliant moments of clarity. That's what we're looking for. And sometimes that taking this rest is what makes that all come together. So all of this activity that we see here and the contemplation and the waiting that we see here are coming together to help manifest with this energy of the Sun, the Chariot, and the Magician. And that is what is kind of the energy that's sort of under all of what's going on here. One thing that this card does caution against is overanalyzing, overthinking things. And if you're feeling stalled, you can look for the inspiration that comes from this little Page of Cups here, because that is available to you. And there's a lot of really good movement energy coming up underneath. So I will leave it there.